You are one of the most important projects you will ever have the pleasure of working on. Somewhere along the grueling hike I had, I realized that Mount Fuji wasn't the first mountain I've had to climb. This used to be me, and I have to live with that. Fat, angry, depressed, and the worst part of it all, I was the biggest thing holding myself back. There's a lot of details on how I ended up in that kind of place that I don't really want to bore you with. I built walls around myself. The excuses, they stacked like bricks. I'd say things like, I'll start on Monday. Not today, I'm tired, or I don't have any time right now. I would lie about myself and where I was in my life every single day so that I would have an easier time falling asleep at night. But the reality was, I just didn't want to get better yet. See, it's a special kind of hell when you're both the prisoner and the guard. It's like hiring yourself as a life coach and then ignoring all of the appointments. Somewhere along the way, thankfully, I started showing up for myself. Not always perfectly and not always proudly, but just showing up. I learned on how to sit and manage with my mistakes and pain and actually start keeping the promises I've made. People always want to romanticize climbing in mountains. They want epic montages, slow-mo flags, inspirational musics, summits, and happiness. But in reality, most of it is boring. It's step, breathe, step, over and over and over again. 95% of climbing is monstrous suffering, and the other 5% is just what happens to be in your friend's Instagram's post. The Mount Fuji isn't the hardest mountain in the world. In fact, it's far from it. But to me, the climb to get to the top of that mountain started years ago. And maybe it was just me being ill prepared, but there was moments on that mountain I thought about going back down. And all the while, my blisters were split open and my socks were covered in blood. And every time I'd take a step, my feet were shocking me, reminding me that I haven't quit yet. So for sure, there was moments I thought about quitting. But I remembered that a little blood on my feet was nothing compared to the slow, painless rot of staying the same. See, when I used to be depressed, the hard part wasn't the physical climbing I had to do. It was convincing myself that the climb was actually worth it. I'd lie awake at 2 a.m. staring at a ceiling under a dim light while the quiet felt almost deafening. In that silence, every excuse sounded like the truth. Rock bottom isn't loud or dramatic. It's small, quiet, and dull. And that dullness was the same thing that kept me trapped inside day after day. And honestly, after all of the hard work I've had to put into my life to make it what it is today, a mountain really wasn't that hard, because I know that I didn't come this far just to get this far. And it was somewhere between the switchbacks and shortness of breath, something reset. Not a movie moment, just a stubborn, unglamorous decision to put one step in front of another, over and over again. The mountain doesn't care about my past. It doesn't care about the voice in my head that said it wasn't good enough. It just sits there and asks one question: are you going to climb or not? And that's a lot like every other challenge I've had to conquer. Are you going to climb or not? And now that I was standing thousands of feet above the clouds, it felt like a different life. Not because the views have changed, but because I did. The more steps I took, the more I realized the obvious truth. The summit isn't the reward. The reward was becoming the kind of person that reached the summit. The kind of person that keeps going. And the kind of person that shows up when it hurts and when no one was watching. See, and Mount Fuji, as much as it was a mountain, it was a reflection of the last few years of my life. Because that kid who was fat, angry, and depressed will always be a part of who I am now. Because being able to rise above all of those challenges that I had when I was younger taught me how to climb. Not just physically, but mentally. My advice to you is that if you're stuck, start with one step. That's it. One step and then another. Don't let the past make decisions for you. You're allowed to be better. You're allowed to be loud and quiet, weird and brave. You're allowed to change. Because no matter how many mountains we may climb, there will always be another in the horizon.